We treat money as a hard science, a world of gears and cogs where every decision can be mapped with mathematical perfection on a spreadsheet. But if finance is simply a logic puzzle to be solved, we struggle to explain the outliers, the brilliant investors who go bankrupt, and the janitors who quietly leave behind multi-million-dollar fortunes. These cases suggest that financial outcomes are frequently dictated by human temperament rather than IQ. It shifts our focus from the math on the page to the complex behavior of the person holding the pen. This diagram visualizes our internal financial baselines. An investor entering the market during the stagnant 1950s experiences a flat reality, while someone starting in the rising 1970s sees a world of constant growth. These early environments permanently wire our expectations of risk. Because of these different starting points, people justify wildly different financial decisions based on their unique worldview. They're following a universal manual. They are following their own history. A decision that looks reckless on a spreadsheet might make perfect sense to the person making it. In the world of money, nobody is actually crazy. We are all just reacting to our own invisible pasts. Standard logic dictates that the investor with the highest annual percentage return should always end up with the largest fortune. Take Jim Simons. He managed a hedge fund that achieved a staggering 66% annual return since 1988. On a year-over-year basis, his performance is essentially unmatched. Yet Warren Buffett's net worth is billions of dollars larger than Simons. Buffett didn't achieve the highest returns, but he did start investing as a child, giving his money decades more time to work. Compounding is deceptive because the most extreme results are backloaded. As this curve shows, the vast majority of a fortune is generated in the final decade of a timeline, regardless of the initial interest rate. Success, then, is a test of psychological endurance. The ability to stay invested for 50 years is far more lucrative than the ability to pick a single winning stock. We naturally assume that to be successful, our spreadsheets need to be right most of the time. Art dealer Heinz Berggruen built a massive fortune despite the fact that 99% of the art he purchased had very little value. He was wrong almost every time he bought a painting. Berggruen relied on tail events. This is the reality that a tiny percentage of outlier successes will account for the vast majority of all positive outcomes. One Picasso in his collection made up for 1,000 mistakes. Modern business works the same way. Amazon can survive the high-profile failure of the Fire Phone because extreme tail events like Amazon Web Services generate enough profit to cover every other loss in their history. You don't need a perfect track record to win. Accepting massive failure is the mandatory requirement for capturing the few successes that actually matter. We prefer to view extreme financial success as the inevitable result of extreme hard work and vision. In 1968, Bill Gates attended one of the only high schools in the world with a computer. He had a 1 in a million competitive advantage before he even began his career. But his equally brilliant classmate, Kent Evans, tragically died in a mountaineering accident before graduation, a 1 in a million tragedy. Luck and risk are invisible siblings. They are the external forces that shape our lives just as much as our own effort and intelligence. Since success involves variables entirely outside our control, even the most precise calculations require a deep sense of humility. There is a vital distinction between being rich and being wealthy. Richness is the current income used to buy things people can see, while wealth is the hidden stack of assets that you haven't spent yet. Accumulating wealth is an act of quiet restraint. It is effectively the Lamborghini you chose not to buy and the diamond ring you declined to upgrade. That constant discipline is the psychological price tag attached to every dollar of long-term financial growth. Many people try to avoid this cost by timing the market, jumping in and out to miss the painful dips while keeping the gains. They are trying to find a way to get the reward without paying the price. Successful investors treat market volatility as a mandatory admission fee, the unavoidable cost of entry for anyone seeking long-term financial freedom. The danger of chasing wealth without a plan is getting trapped on the hedonic treadmill. You hit your goal, move the goalposts, and realize that for some people, the spreadsheet has no finish line. Bernie Madoff already possessed more money than any human could spend, yet he resorted to crime because the number on the screen would never be enough to satisfy his ego. Chasing numbers without valuing your life makes wealth a hollow pursuit. If the money doesn't serve your time, it's just a distraction. The highest dividend money can ever pay is not material luxury. It is the ability to wake up every morning and say, I can do whatever I want today.